Male, female, and what is that? Male and female. So let us make it understand that what exactly Hatha is. Hatha is balancing that results in the higher state of consciousness, which is, you can say, a deep meditative state or mindfulness or highest meditative state. And then you are in Hatha Yoga. Hatha Yoga, Hatha, balancing. Now, anything that changes in the world is bound to have a cause and effect relationship. Hatha. Any school of yoga may or may not start with the process of cause and effect. Sthir Sukhamasana, relaxed and poised manner of the posture of the position of the body is known as asana. So it means I have to practice. And then where I reach? I have to reach to the steadiness. What is steadiness? State of being. So whether it is a karma yoga, whether it is hatha yoga, whether it is raja yoga, no, this is traditional style, not styles of yoga, they are schools of yoga. America has many great styles of yoga that we'll talk later. And then in the last week, we understood the pranayama, prana. I have framed a lot of questions that what are the 3 qualifications for the practice of pranayama? So that you have understood. We also covered in the previous talk how pranayama attains mindfulness state. Did I talk about it? Yes. What should be the state of the mind for the practice of pranayama? Did we cover that? Yes. Let me know. Method of performing pranayama, essentials of pranayama. No. So that is what the essentials of pranayama we will take and we will understand.
I don't know, we did what should be the state of mind for practice? Yeah. And I don't know how, I think we went into briefly how pranayama attains mindfulness, but we went into very deep detail of the mind and breath connection.
Mind and breath. So we have not done how, what should be the state of mind for practice of pranayama?
I think we can do how pranayama attains mindfulness state.
Yeah, I only have notes for the first 2 questions.
Yeah.
First 4 questions. How pranayama attains mindfulness state? We have not done it?
We didn't do that.
Huh? We haven't done it. And we done, yeah, this how mind and breath are related. We have done. Okay. So, question is how pranayama attains the mindfulness state. You know, we talk not too much about the brain, but we talk a lot about the mind. Why mind? Mind is in between the consciousness and the matter. Mind is in between the consciousness and the matter. And that prana moves this mind to different reasons. It changes the different state of the mind. It makes the it makes also, it changes. And we have also understood, I think, we have also understood mindfulness state here. We have also understood that how the breath or the prana changes the mental state and how the mind changes the breath. You can pick up from any one of them and you can do practice related to the mind and also related to the breath. Now question comes, how pranayama attains the mindfulness state? There are many misconceptions. One of them, everyone knows. You are jogging every day. What happens? We always say toxins will be removed. So something related to the breath. That increases, we say, it increases the oxygen concentration, and then it helps you to release your carbon dioxide and other toxins. That's why regular physical practices are important. That is one thing. Now question comes the how pranayama attains the mindfulness state. What is unmindfulness state? What is that state of the mind that is not mindfulness? It is a wandering state. What is the wandering state? It has a lot of thoughts of the past, of the present, of the future. In the past, we go into the past. You became angry to me 10 years back. How can I forget that? Her worries how I can pay the mortgage next month. In America, so what happens? It is the state of the wandering mind. So when we say how pranayama helps attain the mindfulness state, so that content of the wandering state is known as the impurities. Impurities. Understand that. So it says these content are the impurities. If we purify, if we calm down the mind through the practice of pranayama, so mind withdraws itself inside and it reaches to the mindfulness state. So having said this, now we will understand these two verses. The breath does not pass through the middle channel owing to the impurities of the nadis. How can then success be attained? How can there be the unmani avastha? Unmani. Let me give you the one meaning of unmani, no mind. And then it is related to the pranayama. There are at least 5 different practices also given by the Patanjali in the first chapter. You're in anxiety, you start breathing quick and fast for at least 1 or 2 or 3 minutes and then lie down, your mind will calm down. That is how Patanjali explained. So here the Hatha Yoga Pradipika explains the breath that does not pass through the middle channel. Go to the Hatha Yoga. Balancing means the energy moves. You drop the polarity, you drop the duality, the energy starts moving in the middle path. Here are 2 or 3 things that are important just to give you. In Buddhist philosophy, we say it is the middle path. So when the Buddhist philosophy and the teachers were there, perhaps, after the Buddha was gone, after 300, 400 years when Buddha was gone, the dominant tradition in India was Tantra Yoga. And that Tantra masters dominated even these Buddhist masters. So these Buddhist masters were scared that entire Buddhism will be wiped out. So they started accepting some of the principles of the Tantra.
Like the Catholic Church.
Yeah. And when they accepted it, they have accepted some of the Tantra gods and goddesses into the Buddhism. When you talk of Tibetan Buddhism or Buddhism Lama, it is all a part of that Tantra tradition. So originally it is for the Tantra tradition. So what happened? One of the basic principles of Tantra tradition is to follow the middle path. And the middle path, neither right nor left. No polarity. You walk in the middle. You walk, your awareness walks in the middle. And that later became popular as Kundalini meditation, where you have to pass this prana to the middle channel that goes through the spine. And that is known as Sushumna Nari. Nari in Hatha Yoga and in Tantra tradition, you can say Nari is anatomy and physiology of yoga. So Nari is not a nerve. We say Nari is energy pathways. Energy pathways. Yeah, not physical. Not physical. It is the electric current in a wire. It is a wave present in the room that connects our smartphone. It is not a physical entity. That needs to be understood clearly. It is not a physical entity. All our smartphones are active. It is showing that it is active. So there is some tower. And we are not at all aware what exactly is the energy pathways that is going and giving you a signal. So you can see that it has nothing to do with physical active nerve. It has nothing to do with arteries in the veins or the blood vessels. It is easy. There are 72,864 energy pathways present in the world. Yoga masters discovered. So another master who has perhaps gone very deep into these kind of practices, he says there are more than 100,000 energy pathways present in the body. So normally we take there are 72,864 energy pathways. I'm giving you a brief. There is one energy pathways that supplies the energy to manifest the thoughts based on, it is not in this text, but I'm just giving you so that you can understand, and I'll give you an example. So it is known as Mano Vaha. Mano Vaha. Mano Vaha. M-A-N-O, you can write V-A-H-A. Manohava Nari. Manohava energy pathways. It is here.
So not the Sushumna?
It is not the Sushumna. It is here. So when you do Namaste and gently press with a humility, within submission, Namaste means I'm you and you are me. At the center of the being, I'm you and you are me. So instantly the mind moves inside, that energy pathway is related to the mind, comes down, and we reach to a mindfulness state. But it comes by first the regular practices of the deeper breath. The more deeper the breath you do with that Namaste Mudra, it helps to achieve that state. Question still remains, the impurities here in this verse refers to the contents of the mind that takes you to ignorance, that takes you to anxiety, that makes you stressed, that causes the suffering in your life. The contents of that mind that causes you the stress and the anxiety are the impurities, can be purified by pranayama. Yes.
So you talk about like the impurities to remove the diet voice, but do you think though first before I know it's about the first one, the diet to remove the impurities from your diet before you go deeper to the
yes.
Like,
yeah, definitely. But definitely the pranayama helps you to release the toxins. It induces a different positive physiological states. Even the deep breath helps you to emanate the alpha waves. That is basically, we say that we have a parasympathetic dominance, that you are able to induce a deeper state of relaxation. So I'm not going into purely the physiological, biochemical, or neurophysiological changes. So I'm restricting my discussion on what exactly is the impurities this master is referring to. I'm lying down, I'm going for a sleep, and I'm not able to sleep. Why? The thoughts are there. What thoughts are there? Huh? We cannot even control and force the mind to sleep. So it means it is because of those impurities at the mental level. So every thought has an energy pattern. And every thought has that energy pattern. That energy is disturbed, and that energy is nothing but the prana. So that is why it says, breath does not pass through the middle channel because owing to the impurities of the naris, how can then success be attained, and how can there be unmani avastha? Look at the second one. When the whole system of the naris, which is full of impurities, is clean, then the yogi becomes able to control the prana. Lot of things that I can tell you. Anger, greed, hatred from the mind, we live in them.
That's to control the prana.
Huh?
Like you control anger,
Yeah.
lust.
Yeah, that's great. So they are basically, they manifest at the mental level, but the prana has a role into it. I'm craving for something. What happens? And the craving becomes an obsession. I'm redirecting my energy to that craving, and it creates an abnormal conditions at the physical level. At the physical level. If you have studied something about the pride, ego, superego, libido, it is, you can compare easily. It is that prana, the life force. If it is dictated by the lower consciousness, it creates desires, cravings, anger, violence. If the life force is dictated by the heart center, then it creates emotional turmoil. Then if the same energy is dictated by this wisdom, the life changes. So there is a lower prana, there is a middle prana, and there is a higher prana. From the belly button, the lower, or from down, it is lower. Then you have a heart, and I'm symbolically explaining. We'll go deeply, and down on the side, the chest. I like to teach whatever the knowledge is. I'm fired with enthusiasm and energy. Okay, I'll make you guys crazy. I'll confuse you. I'm working through the lower prana. I'm working through the lower prana. Either consciously or unconsciously. Yes, Rodney, you want to?
I know you talked about earlier. I don't know if you said like what are chakras in the real or not, but it's kind of like what you're saying. If you like the characteristics of like the heart chakra, that one thing is more like that. Gland is that like the thymus to the heart functioning, or like if you have the anxiety, stress. I mean, because you kind of describe. I mean, that's what I was trying to get. See if that is what you're relating to or not. So I know you said the chakras were.
Yes, yes. I think to briefly and then we'll go deeply. The greatest misconception about this energy centers or the different states of the consciousness, which are represented by the chakra, this part of the world, and also in India, they have started correlating it with the plexus, the nerve bundles that are present, located at different centers, and we have started giving an interpretation, and if these nerve plexus are open, then we can move into a higher consciousness. But here, when we use the term nari or energy pathways, It has nothing to do with a physical entity. How can you say physical? And can you show me which particular wave is and how it is moving to your smartphone and giving a signal? It is present in the entire room. You can take your smartphone anywhere and still it has the power. But if you go out of the range, then what happens? So what we are talking about we are talking about a very, you can say, the subtle energy consciousness. That is the basic concept. I wanted to talk about that in a detail later. So one thing, once you understand, it is not an energy like any material energy. It is energy consciousness. We say it is energy consciousness. Another name it is given, consciousness force. You have a gasoline in your car, it is an energy, but it is devoid of consciousness. Yeah? You switch on your light and induce the consciousness into that electrical energy? Not possible. But this life force is different. The moment it attracts consciousness, it attracts mind. One thing. Second thing, any change that happens in the body, it is due to the prana. I'm crazy due to the prana. I'm happy due to the prana. I'm anxious due to the prana. So prana moved in a wrong energy pathway. That's why I'm anxiety. And that is the impurity. So I have to drive it to move it in a right pathway. I move into that state.
Is part of the thought too? Like
yes.
Is actual thought?
Yes. It is also it thought. How I'm expressing at this moment, without energy, the thought cannot be expressed. So the thought present, the energy present in the thought is prana. That is how we say. You're looking at me, Michelle, and that also spends a lot of energy. So your perception, mind coming through the eyes, and you're looking at me. So the force, the energy is the prana that help the mind and the eyes to see me. In a traditional discipline, what we say, why you sit and meditate with eyes closed. One of my master, when I was there in the Himalayas, he said, you spend 80% of the prana when eyes are open. Window shopping, you waste your prana. You gather your impurities, do window shopping. Now I'm coming to them. I see those things. I go for a shopping and wife says, yes, I'll go. I sit somewhere. Yeah, I like everything, what is good, beautiful, but there is no intent. But when there is an intent of buying, then I focus completely. I want to go for a computer, gadgets. Then I go in detail. I collect every material. Processor should be very high, the latest. The RAM, I should add the maximum. Then I see the graphic. I'm aware of all those details. So that is not a window shopping. I'm spending that energy in a right thing. So I use the big computers at least for 3 to 4 years. Now I have to use it. So I was working. I didn't want to buy this computer. I didn't want to replace the laptop. So what I did, I started thinking, what can be done? It's 5 years old. Kenny. So I said, he is a great expert. Call him. Let us discuss. Oh, he said, it will be as fast as the new computer. How? Spend $90. How? Change the hard drive to a solid state drive. It simply changes the speed. And it happened. So the hard drive blocks that energy. So we have created a lot of blocks in our life. At the physical level, now I'm answering your question, at the physical level, at the mental level, at the intellectual level, at the instinctual level. Blocks, energy blocks. Can we correlate that energy blocks with the plexus? I don't know. I cannot answer that. But one thing I'm sure that they are little different. They are not material. They are not material. Like in high wind storm, your signals are blocked. But still it is non-material. What happens? So this master is talking the impurities at a subtle body, not at the physical body. Not at the physical body. So, and that can be done purified by the practice of pranayama. One thing. Go back to Patanjali. Patanjali says the two benefits of pranayama. It's a beautiful explanation. The first benefit, it says, tadapchiyate prakasha varnam. It says it removes, dissolves, and destroys the ignorance created by the mind. Just do the pranayama regularly, understand which one is the best. So which kind of problems you solve? Anxiety, stress, duality, conflict, craving, obsession. So you can add physical, mental, emotional challenges. What we see in medical science? 90% of the illnesses are stress-induced disorders. Pranayama is one of the great, and that is why you should be knowing in detail that how we can do it. There are 135 different practices of pranayama. What is written in this text is just a preliminary. It's a beginning. Okay, well, you do it, breathe in, breathe out, just do it. So when we start doing the actual pranayama, did I talk about it? 80 pranayama in the morning, 80 in the afternoon, 80 in the night? Yeah? Yeah. So that I'll cover. So it will come. We breathe 21,800 breaths every day.
We see the pattern of the mind, how like we start doing this.
You become aware of 80 breaths in the morning, 80 breaths in the afternoon. We'll talk later. So, second benefit, the Patanjali says, that is wonderful. That will also help us to get rid of anxiety. Dharana sucho yogyata manasa. You get a remarkable power of concentration. Dharana sucho yogyata manasa. The mind becomes capable of natural concentration. At present, our natural state is wandering. When you reach to that state, your natural state is, you have a tremendous power of concentration. Whatever you do, you drive, you have that. You teach, you have that. Anywhere you eat, you have that. Dharana sucho yogyata manasa. If I again literally translate, the mind by the practice of pranayama becomes capable of a natural focus and concentration. Natural focus. Not a natural focus on anxiety. I'm not talking that. Or stress or duality and a conflict. Look at this. Can we achieve this? So there are two applications. One is that I'm having a lot of challenges, maybe illnesses, so I can improve, change my state from the pain to the well-being, and then from the well-being, Can I change my mental state? Can I drop my wandering state? Answer is yes, we can do it.
So we talked about pranayama and how it can be dangerous to practice. So can you achieve
without any danger?
The change in physical and the change in mental
without
going to that state where it's dangerous or
it
could be dangerous?
Yes.
So we could potentially teach that
Yeah.
and have those results with students.
Yeah. The answer lies in 2.6. What should be the state of mind for practice of pranayama?
Perfect segue.
I'm taking briefly and then I will answer that. This mind. Mind is fundamentally 90% mindfulness. Fundamentally. I will talk in detail about this principle because then the discussion will go very long. 7% it moves in activity. And 3% it falls into unconsciousness. I'm just giving a simile. It is a very wrong simile, but just trying to make a sense. That is what it is explained. The pranayama should be performed daily with the sattvika buddhi, the intellect free from hesitation and unconscious activity, in order to drive out the impurities of the Sushumna, that means middle channel. Let me make you understand. In order to purify the impurities that manifest in my anxiety, physical, mental, and emotional challenges and the problems, I have to start the practice of pranayama in a state of mind that is looking, that is moving with right perception. The higher pranayama. Yeah. Nowadays, you can do breathing out, You're doing a jogging, you're doing a pranayama. You're doing a gym, so your breath rate becomes faster. You have started the pranayama, that is also a pranayama. Because your breath rate changes. But when we have started doing the actual pranayama, first I have to look at the mind. Is the mind crazy? Going in a different directions? Is it craving for sexual power, for example? It is craving for gaining a physical strength, you can get it. But then you are not following the path of yoga. You fall down at the physical level, you fall down at the instinctual level. With that intent in mind, when you're doing a pranayama, then you may have many dangers. That is also an impurity. That is also craving is an impurity. So when I keep that intent in my mind, and then I'm doing the pranayama. So there the master is explaining the basic fundamental principle, which is common to every school of yoga. The mind moves, lives, exists by the three qualities. The first quality is of knowledge, wisdom, pure awareness, peace. That is 90%. 7% is hesitation. This guy who was attending the session, he has been with me for the last 20 years. So last week, I was taking his session. Sir, I was, too much stressed, I was in the shop. And I said, how many clients came? Oh, 10 clients came. And how much time you spent with the clients? 7 hours. Okay. And I caught him. 7 hours. And how many of you your business was mature with those clients. No, all the 7. How much money you got? Maybe around 200,000, means around $3,000. I said, now explain me about your problem. Now I was too much in anxiety, my face became red and I was terribly disturbed. I said, how did you succeed in earning $3,000? Our mind colors, conditions, and extends, imagines, and visualizes. Even 1 minute of anxiety is extended through the symptoms and the feeling. Few seconds of the anger creates a very deep impression at the physiological and the neurophysiological level. I read 15 years back that once you have, he is an American researcher, I forget his name, but and I always remember that. He said, you have 3 levels of anger: highest, middle, lowest. So even if you you engage in the highest level of anger even for 15 and 20 seconds, after the age of 50, you have to be careful. You may get a heart attack. Means the effect of that anger remains for about a week, if that anger is of the highest order. A simple anger influences the entire body, mind, and intellect. Same thing what this master is saying. I may have an anxiety for 2 minutes and I'm constantly thinking, I have anxiety, I have stress. So I asked this boy, I said, young guy, I said, can you quantify how many minutes of anxiety out of 8 hours of working at your shop? And then he became a little bit aware. Oh, when I was drinking a cup of tea. I said, how much time it took you to take a cup of tea? I was in a hurry because the second client was waiting. It took me 5 minutes. I said, why the hell you are giving me a wrong information? You're telling me that I was stressed on the shop, throughout on the entire day. How many hours? I said, no, just 5 minutes, and then he started becoming aware. So the moment you're becoming aware, you are moving into the highest quality of the mind. That is 90%. I'm giving a very subtle indication that how this works. How those masters explains to their students like Buddha, Krishna, a lot of great masters, they just explain, they make you aware of what is already with you. The 90% pure mind. It is always there. See an example? What we say mindfulness, the modern scientist explains awareness and attention. Right? They talk about inward awareness and attention. Okay? Right? What happens in your wandering state of the mind? How do you know it? With reference to your awareness and attention. How do I know? There are 4 people here. I'm addressing Mary, I'm addressing you, I'm addressing Michelle, I'm addressing Michelle. It means what? Awareness and attention has moved. So when it moved to her, I'm still aware and attentive of you. Right? When the mind is not able to remove you from Michelle, then I say it is a wandering state of the mind. I want to be aware and attentive to Michelle instead of Marina. But mind continues to wander on Marina, but I want to focus on it. But in both the cases, still it is awareness and attention. You cannot refuse it. Awareness and attention is the basic quality of this mental consciousness. I want to drive, my mind says, please eat. Go to your home. Eat. That is what I say, the wandering state of, but awareness and attention still remains. It is on the food. I don't want it on the food. I want it on my drive. So that awareness and attention is a fundamental quality. The science has yet to understand that part. It's a very deeper side. That is why I said it is 90%. Awareness and attention is always there. If it is not there in deep sleep, how do you know after in a waking state that you had a sound sleep? How do you know? How can you tell me? No, you wake up in the morning, now you are in a waking state, and you explain, oh, I had a sound sleep. Who tells? Who tells you? I go into your dream and tell you and sleep and tell you? No, someone. So in the beginning, at this point, can we understand that something within me is still aware and attentive? Who knows? Who knows that I had a sound sleep? So that is why I say 90%. Now, coming to the applied aspect, it is important that this mind should move into a state of passivity and some sort of relaxation before any pranayama is to be done. The real pranayama is to be done. All right? Okay. So go back. This one. Method of performing the pranayama essentials of pranayama. First essential, sitting in a posture. So sitting is okay, even lying down is okay. There are many pranayama can be done while lying down. There is no restriction, but a traditional method, and that gives you maximizing the result. I don't want to show it, but yes, one day we'll show. Not a question of demonstration. So first thing, in Hatha Yoga, we do very, not hard, I would say, very intense breathing practices of pranayama. And that breathing practices demands a total steadiness of the postures. Why it needs that stillness of the postures? So that the entire 72,864 energy pathways can be purified with a smile on the face. Keep your awareness and attention with me. Don't take your awareness and attention to your home, to somebody. It is here, right? So when I say that, you are into the state of the passivity, first thing. The body is totally passive. Means what? You are not disturbing the prana. The moment I move the body, I start scratching my head, I have already disturbed the prana through my subconscious and habitual mind. That is why the posture, the practice of the posture comes first, then we come for a pranayama. A slight movement into the body. If you are aware and attentive of the steadiness in the body, which is totally relaxed and comfortable, you are fit for the real pranayama. At least even if you can sit for 15 minutes or more than that. So which are those postures that helps me to sit in a steady posture? The second thing, when you're doing the higher real pranayama practices, the body undergoes a very instant and a fast changes, extreme changes. Long back in 91, 92, when I was doing it, and I was doing it for an hour. And I felt that I'm crazy. What crazy? There was no thought. So mind, which was totally habitual of thinking and living in a wandering state, I don't have any thought. So mind instantly picks up some experiences from the past. It's sad, oh, is it lightness? Is it fainting? Am I not able to see what happened to me? And the master said, do it. You're okay. Do it again. And then the time came, I couldn't see that all the students in front of me are different. Your perception changes. Instantly your perception changes. Third thing, when you are going for that kind of a pranayama, there are sudden jerks, sudden changes in the body. When I take care of many depressed clients to improve their well-being, and when I realize that if I go for some intensive practices, so what happens when I'm giving the practices, once they stop the practice, they start getting jerks in the body. Simply, sir, I didn't do it, it happened. I said, let it happen. So in some of the other traditions, we say that in that state, you are able to release your unconscious impressions and you are purifying. So don't worry about it. But it has to be done under the supervision. But in the first phase, when you actually reach those real pranayama practices, I'll show you one day how it happens. I'll not do it. So as if you start hopping, your body, as a body pulls by some force inside. It, as if you feel that it's going up, down, going up, down. Every time you do the pranayama. So, but body has to maintain the steadiness. And the best posture for keeping that steadiness, you lock in lotus posture. So that is why he refers that one should practice the pranayama in lotus posture, Padmasana. Even if you do Siddhasana, it is okay. Or you have 6 postures for doing the right pranayama. Siddham, Tatha Siddham, Padam, Tatha Bhadram, Muktam, Vajram, Swastikam. Angelina is going to teach you the first 6 meditative postures that is written in Karen Samhita, another text. So when I read the commentary by this commentator of Patanjali, so they also have referred only the 7 postures. And we pay too much attention on the stretching and the sweating. I'm not saying that's not good, that's good. But what is the goal of my life? So I have covered this past in the first part. So sitting in Padmasana posture, the yogi should fill in the air through the left nostril and keeping it confined according to one's ability. It should be expelled slowly through the right nostril, then drawing in the air through the right nostril slowly, and belly should be filled after performing Kumbhaka as before. It should be expelled slowly through the Chandra. Chandra means the moon or the left nostril. So what happens? This, he explained one pranayama. Simple pranayama. Don't do it more than your ability, at least for first 3 to 6 months. Simple, what you do. You're sitting in a posture, you inhale, left nostril, close, retain the breath for some time, exhale from the right nostril. Again, inhale through the right nostril, hold it, retain the breath inside, exhale through the left nostril. This is one pranayama. Do it according to your capacity. So there are many ways that people explain that ratio. I will talk in detail later. Why that ratio? 1, 4, 2 means that 5 seconds inhalation, 20 seconds retention, 10 seconds exhalation. Science says that inhalation is an excitatory phase. Inhalation is an excitatory phase. So when you inhale and you are aware of the breath, you don't fall into sleep. Excitatory phase. So they are right. Then you retain the breath. That also raises your awareness and attention. And I explained to you, it helps you acclimatize and adapt your chemo and peripheral receptors in the brain attached to the link to the respiratory center. That brings a lot of changes in the brain and the mind. So even if when the science says that you can only fire the brain only through the mindfulness practice, no. We have hundreds of practices to fire the brain to change it. And when you release the breath, so it should take 10 seconds, longer. Why? Longer the exhalation, deeper the relaxation. So simple. Physiologically, you can understand. So now what happens? Somebody comes to you with anxiety. What you should do? How you can improve? Let him or her lie down on the back, put your right hand or left hand on the belly, and you say that I will start counting the breath. I'll start counting 1 to 10. You have to inhale and expand your belly. Why? Now, these are the different modifications I imply with my clients that you won't find in the book. So I said, okay, I will count 1, 2, up to 10. Only thing that you have to raise my right hand, which is placed on your belly. Anxious clients, they do not understand what I'm saying.
Your hand is on their back.
Yeah, I take their permission first.
Right. No, I'm just making sure I don't know if it's there.
America, we have to take permission. For everything, you have to take permission. Okay, I'm enjoying that. So, and then I will count up to 20. My hand should drop down. It should drop down below your rib cage.
You retain the breath?
No.
Oh.
In the first instant, no retention.
Okay.
Why? Why? Look at the subtle point when you are counting up to 10 and the guy is inhaling, and 20 counts when he is exhaling. He is already dropping the rate of the breath per minute. So there is indirect sense of retention is already there. Instead of 18 and 20 breaths, you are breathing hardly maybe 8 or 10 breaths. How do I know that I'm able to help him? First 2 minutes, I check the breath rate. If it is 15, next 2 minutes, it is 10. Okay, his mind is going inside. I need not to worry. He is bound to relax. I simply know it, that he is relaxing. I need not to think. Then sometime people drop their breath rate down. Within 10 minutes, it's a 5 or 8. I know you're relaxing. You are aware. You have regulated the breath. Your awareness and attention is on the breath. You are breathing deeply. So that means what? You are consuming more oxygen, giving more oxygen to the brain than normal. I know all those things, and I know this guy is going to relax. And they come out, yes, I'm totally relaxed. Oh, I feel so relaxed by such a simple practice. So once what you're doing, you're helping the body, the mind, his temperament to acclimatize the practice first before you start retaining. Forget about retention.
So that's hard for someone to.
Yeah, no,
that's really
never given, especially in America, don't give it. Yeah. No, in America, we are highly educated. If something happens inside the head, even if it may be a pleasing sensation, oh no, it's a hyperventilation.
You get like nervous.
No, yeah, we know one thing more, hyperventilation.
People withdraw. And they go out. It helps them like to retain breath, like better, like this.
Not like let it all out.
Yeah, because they got blow out very slowly, so you have to control it more.
Yeah.
That helps them like age.
So that gives you, in fact, instantly, why the physical touch is necessary. Because when you have a physical sense of the touch with the breath, it directly goes to the brain. You are starting firing the brain to rewire it. Because the brain needs a conscious experience in the state of awareness and attention. Any experience in the state of awareness and attention fires the brain positively. The wandering state also fires the brain negatively. In both the cases, it fires. You get up in the morning, I'm so stressed now, I have to go to the school, this is too much, And then your mind says, the students are crazy in my school. Oh, that parent of that, he was very crazy, he's going to come and he's going to. You're already fighting the brain. You're causing, accumulating this stress. So now we are doing it consciously. There are a lot of other things that are involved. So first thing, inhaling dust through the one through which it was expelled and having restrained it there till possible, it should be exhaled through the other slowly and not forcibly. You see? So he's indicating about the deep, silent, and the slow breath. He specifically points out, slowly, not forcibly. Slowly, not alternate. So we are not doing alternate now. Now there are different kinds of pranayama. It is written that Angelina will take care of it. How long one should practice pranayama to purify the impurities? How much pranayama is done to purify the impurities? There are two questions, and that I'll take this and then we will discuss within a few minutes and then we'll bring it on. There are a lot of things. What is the quality of the heat and the light in the morning sun, when the sun rises in the morning? How do you feel about the sun? What is the quality of the heat and the light of the sun in the morning? Bright, but it seems to be very cool. It just started the journey. So when you get up in the morning, how do you feel? Are you fresh? Are you anxious?
Tired.
Or tired? Michelle, that's good. So are you tired? So the way sun rises in the morning, prana is also the sun. It also rises in the morning in the body. How do you know prana is balanced? You wake up in the morning, just opposite what you just told me.
So when prana's balanced, you wake up energized.
Yes. When you wake up in the morning, and that's, Now you can, I think now you can understand, I just simply ask casual questions and I come to know where this guy is heading to. There are more than 70 indications. So once you go a little deeper, you wake up in the morning and you're totally stressed and anxiety. Your prana is disturbed. A lot of impurities are there. Impurities, the mental, emotional level. Yeah, I have already explained. I have touched that subject. You see that? Now what happens in the afternoon sun? What happens? It's very hot. So that prana comes here. Here is the gastric fire. Gastric fire. We use the term gastric fire. Come on, this is the time to give some energy from outside. Gastric, digestive fire. You understand what I'm saying? An energy that is ready to accept the food and digest it.
So we back up, we prana,
same prana, yes. So now what you do? I will definitely eat at 3. I take my lunch at 3. You take it, then suffer. So as the prana rises in the afternoon, sun is very hot, so this prana is at the peak. It is ready to burn the food into energy.
She says the best time what to try.
Best time in between 10 to 12.
For lunch or breakfast?
For lunch. And then in the evening, what happens to the same sun? Dusk. How is the sun?
It's like a lighter moon.
Come on, take care of this heart. Now prana is here. And in the midnight, where the prana is, where the sun is, prana withdraws from the body. Yes, your mind, if mind prevents prana to be withdrawn inside, then you have a sleep disturbances.
So the prana is withdrawn in the evening?
Yeah, in the night, in the midnight.
It's just like a very weak force.
Oh, yes, the same like sun. Do you see the sun now?
Right, no.
Same thing.
What if we do some pranayama to try to get more prana to that counter?
Yes, that is what it will come into this. So first part is this to understand. That is the basic introductory part. First is this. Morning sun, afternoon sun, evening sun, night sun. Compare it with a biological clock. Many studies were done. They say in the night, when there is no sun, if you keep this bright light like the one at present, it changes your biological clock. It disturbs the energy pattern. It has a lot of problems with the mental and the emotional level.
So people who work like night shifts?
Yes, diurnal clock changes. So it has to be reset if they are working in the night. If that is not reset, then you may have a lot of problems.
But it can be reset.
It can be reset.
Even though the sun
Yeah, even it can be set. That is one answer of doing the pranayama 4 times in 24 hours.
It kind of counteracts.
It counteracts, you can balance, you can rebalance.
Oh, so you're energized.
Yes, you can energize. I'm just giving a brief of it. So what is that shlokaya? Yes, I told you that circadian rhythm regulates the timing of the periods of the sleepiness, wakefulness throughout the day. And that circadian rhythm dips and rises at different times of the day. And that is related to that prana movement, natural movement of the prana inside our body and in the mind. So body biological clock. Now coming to the last one. Go to the 11th number, the next verses. Kumbhaka should be performed gradually 4 times during the day and the night, till the number of kumbhakas for one time is 80. Here the word kumbhaka is known as, means pranayama. It's a synonym. There are 2 meanings of the kumbhaka. One, kumbhaka means retention of the breath. The other kumbhaka means pranayama. Simple. It is a synonym. So what it says, in the morning, 2 hours before the sunrise, that is the ideal time. You do 80 pranayama, 10 to 12 in the afternoon, 80 pranayama, 4 to 6, 80 pranayama, 10 to 12 in the midnight, 80 pranayama. Once you reach to that state, then we can say you have started doing the pranayama.
So when is it 80? Is it like each nose considered one, or going in the one nose one? Like, is that one, or is that considered one?
Is it 3 counts or 2 counts? That is it.
Like, yeah, like, do you do each nostril once to be considered one?
Yes, you have a valid question. Based on this text, there are 8 pranayama plus 9th pranayama is Nari Shodhan. And there is, you can add that also as a pranayama as a Kapalbhati. So all these 10 different kinds of practices have a different pattern. Like one pranayama has a pattern that you inhale through the left nostril, retain the breath, you exhale through the right nostril, then again you exhale through the right nostril, retain the breath, exhale through the left nostril. So you have started with the left nostril, you return to the left nostril, that is one pranayama.
Okay, and that would be 80 as well.
80 as well. Then the second one is the Surya Bhedi pranayama. You inhale through the right nostril, you exhale through the left nostril. So that is second pranayama. So that is one pranayama when we say I'm doing this pranayama. Now we have done a couple of research studies, not back in 85, 86, 87, with a team of physiologists and psychologists. There is another pranayama. So we started with that. If it is really the unit to measure that, it is one pranayama. And if we consider the Kapalbhati, which is also a pranayama, that means that you inhale and there is a fast expulsion of the breath from the belly. So if we say that, two things very important. Pay attention to it. The first, when we say 80 pranayama, then you didn't ask me how much time it takes to do one pranayama. It changes with every individual. Also, it changes with every individual temperament. I can do one pranayama, it may take 2 minutes. For you, it may take 20 seconds.
Because you have a higher retention.
Yes, I have a higher retention. So that also changes. But what we checked, 80 pranayama, let us have an 80 expulsion of the breath, quick and a fast breathing that I guide in different programs. Can you do it in 1 minute, 80 breath? And we have found out that when you do it in 80 breaths a minute, it is the least effective to the brain. When you do it 100 breaths a minute, it is effective to the brain. And the peak level is 120 breaths a minute. So it means you are altering the quick and a fast breathing from a normal breathing pattern, which is 20 or 25 breaths a minute. Well, if your mind is crazy, then it may be 30 or 40 breaths a minute, because then you start breathing through the shallow breathing. So never breathe through the chest. Maintain your awareness all the time. So once you do it 120 breaths a minute, we have found out that there was one master who did for 15 minutes. And what we saw in the brain, long back, it was a long 85. We saw the alpha spindles, alpha waves in the brain. That indicates a very deeper state of relaxation and the calmness.
Good question.
I don't know how.
No, not the how, but so like in one respect, you want like slow, deep breathing, and that's supposed to stimulate alpha waves. But then you're saying in this other regard, it's quick, fast, shallow breaths, really fast. So they're both just producing a state of mindfulness, really, right?
Both can produce the state of mindfulness if we know how, what needs to be done.
Right.
So when you are doing that practice under a supervision, and then the teacher always keeps you aware of the belly breathing, not the chest breathing, and then you continue, you reach to that state, the time comes, it becomes natural. It becomes so much natural. And I have seen a lot of my students after 6 or 7 months. This woman is almost 72, 74 years old. I said, no, you have to start. We'll be doing for 4 minutes. And that is, she does it. But it is so rhythmic. And I don't know what happens. When it is rhythmic, you don't feel tired.
The fast breathing.
Yeah. You don't exactly feel tired. Same thing which I have heard when I started understanding, this guy, this master used to do for 15 minutes, and we asked him to sit. We put the electrodes in, and I said, let us stop. And we were amazed. On the monitor, and we say, how come this guy is having an alpha waves? A minimum disturbances in the body, no movement at all. He had the minimum disturbances. So there are a lot of things. It takes about 3 to 6 months when you know that you have not to move your head, you have not to move the spine. So that is how this pranayama has to be practiced slowly. What are the experiences of the pranayama? That is the last verse. That is the last verse. And think of it. We will understand this next week. Oh, on Sunday. Yeah, coming Sunday. First step of pranayama, the result is perspiration. You perspire. You start sweating as if you are under a shower. Your water starts coming. Michelle, is it good? Bad? It will start.
Yeah.
It's good. But what you think is bad and what is considered good. I have yet to figure out, and I have read a lot of literature, but not everything. And I've asked a lot of masters, so I didn't get, I would say, perhaps the right answer. My master was not more into this kind of pranayama. He was more into mindfulness and other higher practices of meditation. So what happens, benefits, you can read it. So when you perspire, Michelle rightly said hot bath. So when you're bathing with your sweating, the master used to say that you have to rub that sweating into your body again. You have not to allow, you don't dry it, you don't rub it with the towel. If you rub it with the towel, you lose your strength. I don't know how. I've tried to, yeah. So first it takes 3 to 6 months to reach to that stage, and when you started doing the pranayama, the first stage comes when you are perspiring. Every time you start, within 10 or 15 minutes, the perspiration, everything is wet.
So you should let yourself sweat.
And so the moment that, start sweating, you have to rub.
You yourself or someone else?
No, you have to do it yourself.
But then you're moving.
We have already completed the pranayama. After completing pranayama, you start rubbing, and every time the perspiration. The second stage, the trembling, the hopping comes. And in the third stage, a total stillness. My master used to guide us, and when we used to do after half an hour, after a couple of months, and then I experienced and I used to apply those practices. What happened after a couple of months, we did the pranayama for 6 months, and then master said, go into the meditation. He guided us, we were there. 1 hour is passed. Now open your eyes. Open your eyes, go back to your room. But what happens? I open my eyes, body doesn't move. It simply doesn't move. It is totally still. So I say, no, it doesn't want to move. No. And it used to take another half an hour. And my master used to say that when this mind goes fully to the body, it picks up the same unconscious habits, and then you are able to move your body. You move to, my master used to say that when you reach to the abnormal state that helps you to live in the world of desires, of craving, of anxiety, of anger, of reaction, then you are ready to move your body. Otherwise, you cannot do it. So that is what the result, the Hatha Yoga says, in the third stage, total stillness. Total stillness. So please read the benefits during the pranayama, what types of food to be eaten during the purification process by the pranayama. And if you have any difficulty, then you let me know. Benefits of the pranayama. So then we will find out that how it helps. It says, if you see benefits, second benefit, the 16 words, it eradicates all the diseases. But an improper practice generates diseases. Remember. So make it clear. Then you see that next one, the 17th verse, the hiccup, asthma, cough, pain in the head, the ears and the eyes. These and the other various kinds of illnesses are generated by the disturbances of the breath. So now it purely talks about therapeutical modalities and the benefits. Important tips for pranayama. The air should be expelled with a proper tact, should be filled skillfully. When it has been kept confined properly, it brings success. That is what I have already explained in detail. That is very indications of success. Indications of the success. Where is indications of the success is this? You can read it. By removing the impurities, the 20th verse, the air can be restrained according to one's wish. Check if you are fit for pranayama. That we will take up on Sunday.
So question.
Yeah.
So you're saying, right, before you do the pranayama, you want to do like a relaxation technique. So you want to do something like this, relax the body. Because I said something about not doing it.
Really, you are right. First, always better. At least for 5 minutes, do nothing.
Before you go into
Leave everything. Mind says, no, I have to do this thing now. Just leave it. Or you relax yourself. It helps you to raise your awareness. And once your awareness level goes up, and at that moment you do the pranayama, so you are able to regulate the prana or the breath consciously.
See, I'll do the other way. I was pranayama, and then like the energy I'm getting there.
It is America.
Oh yeah, I didn't know.
I know.
Yeah, I'll do like the yoga, such meditation, do pranayama, and then just do like the body scan. But like, didn't feel like wrong. I never actually tried it the other
We are Americans. We like to get up, put our shoes on, and what is that? And then we start, come out of the home and we start running. The traditional discipline says, first check your mind. Is the mind relaxed and calm? Are you ready to run or not? Or you'll start running, and after some time, because you are in anxiety, you say, oh, I have a lot of pressure on the heart, let me go and relax, and then go to the doctor. So our journey in the morning is, once the sun rises in the morning, as the prana rises in the morning in the body, you raise your awareness. So the prana and the breath and the mind goes together to make your entire day happier, healthier. So just try to do, Radni, the opposite way. First relax, maintain your awareness, and then do the pranayama, and then see how the result comes. So we will talk about